Have you ever wished you could snap your fingers and instantly master a new skill? Imagine waking up tomorrow already knowing how to do amazing things. You could speak a new language, play guitar like a rock star, build your own app, or even land a perfect backflip. When we were kids, learning felt magical. We imagined becoming amazing at things overnight. Maybe you wanted to impress your friends. Maybe you wanted everyone at school to notice you. Or maybe you dreamed of playing music like a star. But as we grow older, our priorities change. Now we want to learn skills that actually improve our lives. Things like business, technology, languages, or sports. But here's the problem. Most people are terrible at learning efficiently. And honestly, it's not completely our fault. School taught us to memorize information, just long enough to pass a test and then forget it right after. But memorizing facts is not real learning. Real learning means understanding. It means being able to use knowledge naturally. So think about the last thing you tried to learn. Maybe it was coding, maybe a new language, maybe playing an instrument. What did you actually do? You probably watched a lot of tutorials. Maybe you read tons of articles. You filled your brain with information, but somehow nothing stuck. Here's why. Most people focus only on input, reading, watching, listening, but learning actually happens through output, doing, practicing, experimenting, and teaching. Learning is like swimming. You can read every book about it. You can watch hours of tutorials, but the moment you jump in the water, you realize something important. You actually have to swim. Learning is active. You must participate. Another huge mistake is trying to learn everything at once. But not all knowledge is equally important. There's a powerful concept called the Pareto principle. It's often called the 80-20 rule. It says that 80% of results come from 20% of effort. This idea also applies to learning. A small number of skills create most of the results. For example, imagine you're learning a new language. Most people think they need to memorize thousands of words. But that approach takes forever. In reality, only a small number of words are used most of the time. Around 1,000 common words dominate everyday conversations. Learning those first makes communication much easier. The same idea applies to playing guitar. Beginners often want to play complicated solos immediately, but that usually leads to frustration. Instead, great guitarists start with basic chords. Those chords unlock hundreds of songs. Once the basics are mastered, advanced skills become easier. So instead of trying to learn everything, focus on the essentials first. Mastering the fundamentals creates momentum, and momentum makes learning faster. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful learning techniques. It's called active recall. Most people study by reviewing information again and again, but this creates the illusion of learning. Your brain feels familiar with the material, but familiarity is not the same as memory. Active recall flips the process. Instead of rereading information, you test yourself. You try to remember what you learned without looking. This forces your brain to retrieve information, and retrieval strengthens memory. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you want stronger muscles, you have to lift weights. Simply staring at the weights won't make you stronger. The same rule applies to learning. Your brain gets stronger when it works. Effort creates stronger memory connections. Another powerful learning strategy is called the spacing effect. Most people try to learn everything in one long session. This is known as cramming. Cramming might help short-term memory, but the information fades quickly. The spacing effect works differently. Instead of studying 6 hours in one day, study 1 hour per day for 6 days. Each time you revisit the topic, your brain has to retrieve the information again, and this strengthens the neural pathways. Think of learning like walking through a forest. The first time the path is difficult. Branches block the way, but every time you walk the path again, it becomes easier to follow. Eventually, the path becomes obvious. Your brain works the same way. But there's another secret to learning faster. Practice alone is not enough. What matters is deliberate practice. Deliberate practice means focusing on weaknesses. Most people only practice what they already know. That feels comfortable. But comfort rarely leads to growth. Real improvement begins outside the comfort zone. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you're learning how to draw. Many beginners draw the same thing again and again because it feels easy. But easy practice doesn't create improvement. Real progress comes from challenging yourself. Try drawing things that feel difficult. Hands, faces, or perspective. At first, it will feel frustrating, but frustration is part of the learning process. Every mistake teaches something valuable, and every challenge strengthens your skill. Now, here's another powerful learning trick. Teach what you learn. Teaching forces your brain to organize information. It pushes you to explain things clearly, and it exposes gaps in your knowledge. If something is hard to explain, you probably don't understand it yet. The good news is you don't need a classroom. You don't even need students. You can simply teach yourself. Open your phone camera and pretend you're recording a lesson. Imagine thousands of people watching your explanation. This pushes you to understand the topic better because you want your explanation to make sense. There's a famous idea often linked to Albert Einstein. If you cannot explain something simply, you probably don't understand it well enough. Simplicity reveals true understanding. Another powerful way to learn faster is using multiple senses. Your brain loves variety. The more senses involved, the stronger the memory. Let's use language learning as an example. First, read the language. Then listen to native speakers. Watch videos in that language. Write sentences yourself. Speak the words out loud. This combination activates many areas of the brain, which makes the memory stronger. Think of learning like building a house. A strong house needs strong support. The more structure you add, the stronger the building becomes. Learning works the same way. Now let's talk about something that destroys learning: distractions. Modern technology constantly competes for attention. Social media, notifications, messages, videos, all of them pull your focus away, and your brain keeps switching tasks. This destroys deep concentration. Deep learning requires deep focus. So the first step is creating a focused environment. Remove anything that steals your attention. Silence your phone notifications. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Clear your workspace. A simple environment helps your brain focus. Your brain performs best when distractions disappear. Another important rule is avoiding multitasking. Multitasking feels productive, but it actually slows you down. Your brain can only fully focus on one task at a time. When you switch tasks, your brain resets its focus. This wastes mental energy. Instead, work in focused blocks of time. Give your full attention to one task. Now let's talk about something many people ignore: sleep. Sleep is not wasted time. Sleep is part of the learning process. While you sleep, your brain organizes information. It strengthens the knowledge you studied earlier and removes unnecessary information. That's why good sleep improves memory. Many students make a common mistake. They pull all-nighters before exams. It feels productive, but it damages memory retention. A tired brain learns slower. Rested brains learn faster. Finally, we need to talk about mindset. Your beliefs influence how you learn. Some people believe they are bad at learning. This belief limits their progress. But skills are not fixed. Skills grow with practice. Every expert was once a beginner. Every mistake teaches something new. Every challenge strengthens your brain. Progress happens step by step. Consistency beats talent. So let's quickly summarize the learning formula. Focus on the most important skills. Practice actively. Use active recall. Study with spaced repetition. Practice deliberately. Teach what you learn. Use multiple senses. Remove distractions. Get enough sleep. Learning faster is not about being naturally smart. It's about using the right strategies. Anyone can improve with the right system. Your brain is more powerful than you think. You just need to train it properly. Start small, stay consistent, keep challenging yourself, and never stop learning. Because the faster you learn, the faster you grow.